So, Kati, welcome and let's get started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Patricia. I'm excited to be here and excited to share this with your, with anybody that's watching this webinar. And well, it's recorded, but, later, I was going to say live or later, but, so I will go ahead and share my screen. I've got a little presentation. We're going to talk about how to make your pet business shine. And the reason is because if you've been in the pet industry for any amount of time, there's so much competition, right? If you're a pet sitter, there's infinite amount of pet sitters out there. It seems like same with products and dog training and all that. So how do you get your audience to choose you over anyone else? And that's what we're going to talk about, how to make your brand shine and stand out among all the other noise. So here we go. How to make your pet business shine. That was a great introduction from Patricia. Thank you so much. Just to go over it quick, it's pretty much the same thing. Started out as a vice president of a pet expo company. I worked with thousands of pet businesses there, and I saw firsthand how some pet businesses stand out and how some, even with great products, don't do as well. So that's where I really started looking at the patterns and started helping exhibitors with their booth and then eventually with their marketing throughout the entire year. I've been doing sales since 2003 and working with pet business owners since 2010. And now with Max Pet Marketing, I am on a mission to teach passionate pet business owners like you, so people who really want to make a difference in pets' lives, how to stand out from all the barking and increase their sales, build that customer loyalty that they deserve. All right, so we're going to dive right in now. Here's the thing, in a busy marketplace, which we all know the pet industry is a very busy marketplace, not standing out is the same as being invisible. And we're not just talking about standing out among your competition, which is what we normally think about. We're also thinking about all that other noise, all the other advertisements that come at us every single day trying to catch our attention. How do you get their attention? It's your brand. So your brand is your business's identity. That is how somebody's going to relate to you. So it includes your brand personality. It includes your brand mission, your values, your promise to your customers. We'll go into all of this in a little bit. But know that your brand is really what and who your business is. It's your business identity. Then your strategy, you may have heard of brand strategy, not totally knowing what that is. It's how you shape that identity. So it is what are your values? What is your value statement? Do you have a mission statement? Do you have a promise statement? Do you have a logo and colors and what kind of vibe you want to go? And if you don't have those things, you're kind of just throwing dust in the wind and hoping something happens, right? Here's the thing, 95% of buying decisions are made subconsciously. And that's not a number I just pulled out of the air. This is probably, I think it's even higher. I think it could be much closer to 100%. But our decisions are made subconsciously. And that's just kind of how the way our brain works. So think about when you walk into a room and it's dark. Do you have to think, oh, should I light a candle? Or should I bring in a lamp and plug it in? Should I just try and feel around? No, you don't have to make that decision. You just walk in and you flip the light switch. All of our decisions, even buying, are based on our previous experiences and subconscious, like those gut feelings, right? As consumers, we want to think that our decisions are very logical, that we did all the research, we did all of this, and we know exactly why we're buying, when in reality, there's a lot of things that influence us that we might not even realize before we ever even get to that. Okay, am I making a logical, correct decision? For example, an outdated logo can give the impression that the product or service is outdated. If you're a dog trainer with an outdated website, people can think, oh, maybe that their techniques are not up to date. Or if you have a product, like, what is not up to date? Should it be that way? Does it really mean that? No, not necessarily, but this is a subconscious message that you might be sending to your consumers. A website with broken links, it can give customers the idea that the product might not be, that I had a typo here, but that the business might not be maintaining the quality of their product either. So crappy website, does that mean they have a crappy product? A slow customer service, like response, like if somebody has a question for you and it takes you a couple days to respond, it diminishes that trust. Somebody's trusted you enough to reach out to you, but then, okay, are they going to help me if something goes wrong after I buy their product or service? So those type of things, and there's so many more that we can name, the wrong colors, the wrong lighting, the wrong places, the wrong advertising, the wrong words, like so many things can give these subconscious ideas. And that's why it's so important that everyone have a brand strategy. So your brand strategy, again, is how you communicate that identity. And it's really your plan, your profit plan. A brand strategy is your profit plan. The best brands build on an emotional connection. So as I mentioned, you have that identity, just like a person has an identity, you're going to relate with people that have certain identities more than you do with others. But it's really hard to connect with a business. We just don't. Our brains are not made that way. They are made to connect with other people. So the more you bring an identity to your business, the more likely that when you bring that identity to your business, the more likely they're going to relate to you and understand that message that you're trying to get across. So unlike other companies, the best brands will create lifelong fans because they go beyond just selling that product. That is why I work with the pet industry, because so many of you are so passionate about pets that you started a business, and some of you even accidentally did it. Like you just like made something for your dog and then suddenly I accidentally have a business. So that's why I love the pet industry. The brand, most of your brands really do already go beyond just product or sale, but you haven't taken that step with your brand strategy. We think like Apple and Starbucks, these brands kind of become irreplaceable in their customers' minds. And think about the attitudes of the people who have an iPhone, and I don't, and I have people that do. This is not meant to be offensive, but a lot of times people with an iPhone, they will not go with anything else. They will tell you that Android is awful and that you shouldn't have an Android, you should have an iPhone, you should have a Mac and all of this. So they're very loyal and dedicated because of that image that Apple has brought to mind in the consumer. Okay, and same with Starbucks. People go to Starbucks, they go to Starbucks for Starbucks, and they very rarely will go to McDonald's for a coffee, if ever, right? So how do you as a business owner become irreplaceable like these companies in your customer's mind? The way you do that is that every part of your brand should connect together to tell one powerful message. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more. So that message is going to explain, what does the customer get out of it? So it's going to be a lot less about you. It's kind of weird to have to write about yourself, to deliver a message about yourself that's really about the consumer, right? So what does the customer get out of it? Then you've got your visuals and you've got your voice. So your voice and your visuals should all reflect what that main message is. If your message is, if you're a luxury type pet hotel, your logo should reflect that luxury feel. They should not have like a, I see a lot of doggy daycares that are more of a playful brand. So they're going to have more of a, maybe they'll have the primary colors, that blue, red, and yellow gives it a really like playful kindergarten, like young child kind of look that reminds us all of like playing and being playful. But if you're a more luxury type hotel where you pamper the dogs, maybe it's better for senior dogs, that's a totally different avenue, right? So your logo is going to be much more like a higher, it should reflect that. So it's not going to be as playful. It's not going to have those colors. Maybe you'll do like a purple or like a that shows like the royalty and the pampering that you do. Same with your colors, your packaging. If you sell products, your packaging should absolutely, like, this is the first time somebody gets your product, it should have something on the box about you if you can, and definitely the inside of the box or whatever you send should have some branding there, whether it's your brand colors, you should have some inserts to go with it to tell more about your brand, what to do, how to buy next, a discount for next time. Totally can go into a whole webinar for that. All of these things. So your voice, this one is the part where, we understand the visuals, but the voice gets a little funny because it's not as concrete, right? So your voice is what you say. Your tone is how you say it. So do you have a more excited and upbeat tone, or maybe you are a veterinarian with a very serious message that you need to get across, and it's less of the that fun, bubbly type personality and more of a serious personality, because you want people to take you seriously, right? Okay. And same with the tone. So the tone should not be like, hey, everybody, like, listen up. And it should be more like, hey, I need you to pay attention to this. And here's something very important that you should know. And you can have a little bit of both. It doesn't mean that you have to always be serious, just like anybody's personality is going to change and shift a little bit. You'll have that main personality there, and then you'll have like a little bit of maybe a little bit of a shift. Maybe you're super fun, but also a little bit of luxury too, right? So here are 5 actions you can take right now. And I do recommend you take them right now. 5 actions that you can take right now to improve your brand and your brand strategy. The first thing you're going to do, and notice only one of these has visuals in it. I see so many times that people think, oh, their logo and their colors, that's their brand, it's done. And then they put those colors and that logo on everything, and that's it. There's so much more than that. It really boils down. The visuals should reflect these first 4 things that you see here, right? So the first one is, who are you and what do you do? Again, focusing on the audience. So who are you? You're a dog trainer. You help dogs and their families live much happier coexisting lives, right? Maybe you help communicate together, whatever it is you specialize in. I have a client that specializes in reactive dogs, right? And the more you specialize in something, the more people will think that you are the right person for them. Who do you serve? So then this goes back to, I know everybody, if you've been in business at any time and watched any webinar and creating and growing your business, you've probably heard of your target audience. Okay, back on. So I just talked about who you serve, your target audience. Then we go into how do you serve them? So what is your product? What does it do for them? What is your offer? What do they get out of it? And then 4 is, why should they choose you over anyone else? What makes you better for them? I like to avoid the word better because sometimes it's just better for them, right? If you are going back to like a senior dog versus a playful dog, if you're looking for a pet sitter, you're going to look for one that is either more playful or more pampering, right? And then finally, you're going to go into your colors, your website, your social media, images, messages, all of it. Does it communicate that brand story? Oh my goodness. All right. So that is it. And pretty much covers your brand. It was a very super fast kind of brand crash course. So hopefully this at least gives you an introduction. Oh my goodness. Hopefully this at least gives you an introduction and a start. And if you're interested in more, you can certainly reach out to Pet Working or me. We'll be happy to help you out.
Great, Kati. Thank you so much. And thank you. That was amazing. And I learned a lot, but I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Now people are talking about that brands are humanized. So when should we, because sometimes people don't like to show themselves to the cameras and social, or put their photo or their pics in the websites. So when should we must do it, or is irrelevant?
I'm a big fan of, even though I myself do not like being the center of attention, I did not like putting myself out there on the pictures, but the fact is people are going to work with me and they want to know who they're working with, right? So especially when you're a small business, we need all the help that we can get, right? Most small businesses don't make it through that first year. So the more you can, like you said, humanize your business, consumers really like to support individual businesses, but they tend to fall back on those big corporations because of the trust factor. So if you don't have to put yourself in every single post that you make, but you need to be there a little bit, just to show your face and show your audience who you are, so they know they can trust you. They're more likely to trust you. They're more likely to relate to you, and they're more likely to go, oh, hey, that's my person. I want to totally buy from them.
Is there a pattern for colors to be used depending on the kind of business? Because I've seen that lately, people are using like all of the colors, like everything is open for them. We can see purple, yellow, blue, orange, and sometimes people are becoming more disruptive in terms of marketing and branding. But do you recommend, for example, we were talking about these playful colors if you're talking about a daycare, or maybe some others if you want a luxury brand. So, but there is like a pattern, or you can explore if you like on the colors.
Yeah, there's a mix of a little bit of both, right? There's a little bit of science and there's a little bit of art to it, right? There's that aesthetic part. When it comes to your colors, really think about your personality, right? Like, and what the feeling you want your customer to get out of it. If it needs to be more of like if they need to really trust you, then, blue is a great color for that. If you want them to be very excited about talking to you or very excited about your brand, brighter colors, like, and it depends on how colors are very, very tricky, right? Like, because you can have red, which is the color of love, but it's also a warning sign too. So you have to use them very strategically, and you can always test them too, right? If you send out an email, just test the colors. If you're like, hey, I think these are good, let's see what it does. Send out some emails with that color and see if you have a different result, a significant result. Or you can even do, a lot of platforms should let you do A/B testing. So you can do a split test to see which color resonates more and see if there's a difference.
Yes, but since we are not all graphic designers or marketing specialists, that's why it's so important to have an agency like yours, that you have all the expertise and the knowledge to advise us and to let us know what's the best color and branding for our brands to make them bright.
Yeah, it's really hard to say without knowing the specific business.
Yes, I know. So, Kati, where can people find you, and which are the services that you provide through Max Marketing?
Yeah, so what we mostly do is I mostly work on the brand strategy these days. So now I'm doing, like, you can do a VIP session where we take a day and we just dive into your brand. We look at your website, your social media, your messaging. We look at like your target audience. We look at all of that and make sure that you're marketing it in the correct way too, right? We want to make sure that not only do you have this brand message, but you know how to share it with the world. You can also go with a brand evaluation. So you get the same thing as the VIP, where we work together. But then I go into a deep dive and actually look and create a document based on what I see on your website that you can keep coming back to and refer to. I have clients that refer to it years later. So it's something that really helps guide you to that next step, and gives me a chance to really get my hands dirty with your brand and give you some feedback there. And then the next step is to, you could also do a brand strategy toolkit. So not only do we do the VIP day, we'll do the brand evaluation. And then the next step is that we take I will actually create a brand strategy toolkit based on all the findings and everything that we've built in the previous phases.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Kati, for your time, for this, for sharing this valuable content. And
thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. This was the PetWorking Talks, and see you